Welcome to Lake Arts and Entertainment Showcase, covering the arts throughout all of Lake County. Magnificent arts, music, drama, the theater, and all of the visual arts.
Hi, thanks for joining me. I'm Lori Farfaglia, host of the Arts and Entertainment Showcase here on Lakefront TV. Today I'm in studio with local musician Jerry Arnold. Thank you for joining me.
Well, thanks for the invite. I appreciate you having me today.
So tell me about yourself, Jerry.
Well, I've been in the area for almost 30 years, and I'm married to a lovely wife, Bonnie, and my precious daughter, Christy. And I grew up actually in Western New York State, and came down here in 1983 and actually work in the furniture business in the industry out at Family Furniture, and have a great team out there, and want to say hi to everybody from the furniture store, and hope you're watching.
So you're a musician on the side. You have a real day job like me that you do.
That's right, and I actually had in selling furniture, I ran into a young man named Mike Nathanson back in 1990. And I found out he had played in a band, and I was playing the drums at the time, and he says, "Oh, we need a drummer. You should come out and play with my brother and I." So I ended up getting hooked up with Mike and Generic Nathanson and Tim Shiver, and we formed a band called The Subjects, and we were playing from 1990 to 1995, and actually did over 200 shows together.
Wow.
And unfortunately, we lost Generic here this last month. He had passed away and left a wife and a young daughter. Young when I was with the band. I just found out she's 27 years old now. So I just wanted to say, Sherry and Alexis and the rest of the Nathanson family, I send my condolences to you, and Generic was a big inspiration for me.
So you played locally here around town?
Yeah, we played local. We were what we called a power pop punk trio, and we actually played locally, and I think we played in every local bar once. But the jobs that we could actually play repeatedly would be, for instance, Gainesville and Daytona and Cape Canaveral, and let's say some of the more progressive venues in Central Florida. So it was great. We did original music, and they were really a big boost for me to start writing my own songs.
Now you're a solo musician now?
Yes, mainly playing in private venues, and possibly Leesburg's best kept secret. But I actually have been working on several songs. That many of those were written in the 90s and in the early 2000s. And I'm hoping to record a 12-song CD this year. And I'm hoping to be able to play all the tracks myself, drums, bass, and guitar, and keyboards. Wow. So that's my goal for the coming year.
Well, good. Well, how about let's hear one of your songs?
Sounds great. Be glad to.
This is a song called Gather Around. Just gather around. Don't say a word, please. Don't make a sound. You wanna be heard and you wanna be found. You wanna be most likely. But rather you know, a child will come and a child will go. But a mild man comes and a mild man goes. He'll get the third degree. Sunday morning, you had your warning. No one's warning me. And I'm out of town. I wanna get up and I wanna get down. I need to shut up and I need to shut down. I need to get in early. My last night around. If I don't go nuts, then I'll let myself down. But a wild man comes and a wild man's found. A little hypocrisy. Sunday morning, I had my warning. Are you warning me? gather around. Don't say a word, please don't make a sound. We wanna be heard and we wanna be found. We wanna be most likely.
Okay, Jerry, the main thing I noticed during that song was you have a lot of fun when you're playing. What's some of your inspirations that makes you so passionate about the kind of music you're playing?
Well, I've had quite a lot of years to listen to a lot of different music, so I know that growing up, it was grew up in the 70s, so of course the classic rock influence was huge. And I know we had a lot of 8-tracks back then, whether it was Pink Floyd or Heart, or concerts with either Ted Nugent playing or Blue Oyster Cult playing. And then playing with Generic, he put a little bit of stage presence in with it, so he moved around real good. In fact, playing the drums back then with Tim on guitar, half the time we'd spend looking to find out where Generic was. But it's just, you know, rock and roll is for fun, and if you can't have a good time doing it, you shouldn't be playing it at all. So I just enjoy it, and like to have a good beat with most of the songs.
Now, have you been musically inclined all your life? Did you know from an early age this was your gift, or?
Well, I know growing up we had 3 excellent piano players in the family. We had my mom grew up playing the organ in her church. I have an older sister that attended Geneseo State University for music, and then I have a younger sister that's awesome on the piano. And growing up, we had the little spinet in the back room, so I was always out jamming on the piano. So it was always the basic rockabilly and rock and roll growing up playing the piano. As you can tell, I'm highly untrained, but just plugging along and just piano. And then I have been mainly a drummer over the years, and really I'm a drummer by trade.
What made you switch to guitar? You just picked it up and...
Well, you know, I keep coming back to my experience with the Subjects, and I know that when I left the band, Generic gave me this guitar, and it couldn't have been a cheaper guitar, but we spent about 6 months off the road, so to speak, saving up money to buy, my wife and I saving up money to buy our first house. And that's when I had time to kill at home, and with her, of course, and taught myself quite a few of the chords. And I'm mainly a rhythm player, so mainly with the rhythm, learning the chords and writing the different songs that way.
Well, let's hear another one of your songs.
Sounds great. We're going to do a song here called People Who Can't.
Okay.
People who can't, people who can't, people who can't, people who can't. When it becomes apparent something's wrong with you, don't want no one to get involved. And when some single parent blames it on the school because they can't problem solve, because people who can't, people who can, people who can, people who can't. You brag about your wedding, your daddy, he's so great. When simple ceremonies do, when it came down on you, you weren't one to wait. A prenuptial taboo. People who count. People who count. People who count. People who count. Because people who count, people who count, people who count, people who count. The flashback flower children don't take long to lose. A generation down the tube. And when some Vietnam vet gets back from his tour, I hope you don't slip too. People who count, people who count, people who count, people who count. People who count, people who count, people who count, people who count.
Okay, Jerry, tell me about that last song. That was interesting.
Well, that last song, People Who Can't, you know, the typical saying is people who can't teach. But it's not about teachers at all, because we have great teachers. And
Right.
I might have a bone to pick with the teachers' unions at all, but basically that song is more about just the general downgrading and we're losing our society. And I think that with a lot of what happened with the 60s, I think the country basically is going down the drain unless we get things turned around from a cultural and moral standpoint, but not to get too political.
Right. So when you're writing a song, when it comes to you, are you doing anything in particular? Are you in the car, waking up, in the middle of a dream? What do you do? How do you write a song?
Well, there's all different ways, and you work real hard at it, but sometimes the best parts come just by accident, so to speak. So basically, we'll have a theme that you'd like to talk about, and then I remember one time I bought this book of all these words that rhymed, and I couldn't get any two words that rhyme in any song, so I threw that out. So basically, it's just something you want to talk about and just building on it from them. Some of the best songs come so easy and so quick, and others you work real hard to get them put together. So
Is it the music that comes to you first, or the lyrics, or kind of both?
I'm always working on chord structure. And so the chord structures, I say, would be the root of how I write songs. I start out with the chord patterns and then go from there.
Now, how long have you been doing this? Like you said before, you told me that you've been kind of musically inclined, but how long have you actually been doing this around Leesburg? You live in Leesburg?
Yeah, I live in Leesburg, and actually been writing. I remember the first song I wrote was for the 11th grade talent show, and I was playing piano, and I had my friend Carl Spikes on drums, and of course, the drums were so loud you couldn't hear anything I was singing or playing at all, but the girls in the audience went wild, and that's all we were really going for anyway.
So you even write the music when you were a drummer, not just a guitar player?
Oh yeah, absolutely, sure.
Now, tell me about how you ended up in Florida, in Leesburg, altogether. You know what I mean? Like, how'd you end up here?
Well, I grew up in Western New York in the Rochester area, and after I graduated from the University of Rochester, I grew up in the tire business. My dad was from Akron, Ohio. And he was in the tire business in Rochester working for Johnny Antonelli. So all you folks from Rochester, you know who I'm talking about. And unfortunately, my dad passed away at 50, so I feel, I've already outlived him, which I guess is no great feat. But anyways, I decided I was not going to follow his footsteps in the tire business. So after I graduated, I had my older brother, Jeff, who put in a word for Jeffrey Paul's Chop House in Leesburg. That's my big brother. And he had lived in this area, so I had come down and to see him and loved the area. The blue skies were amazing, so I ended up moving here, and I met my wife about a year later, and we got married in 1984, and what's that, 28 years we've been married.
Good, and you stayed here. Well, let's hear some more of your music.
I've got a couple songs I'd like to play. One is called Somebody, and that might have come, the inspiration for that title might have come from the movie The Mask, when he goes, "Somebody stop me." So that's where that came, to answer your question.
Okay.
And then I've got a song that I'm a huge sports fan in general, but in particular Cleveland Browns. And when that team moved away, being a Browns fan, that was devastating. So in about the year 2000, I wrote a song called "Hate to Lose You," and it's a tribute to the Cleveland Browns and all the great history and tradition. Now, luckily, we have them back, and it's been a rough another 10 years, and it's just something about being a Cleveland Browns fan. It's a road, but at least you're in the game. And I'd also like to play a song that I wrote for my wife called "Still I Make You Cry," dedicated to my wife, Bonnie.
They say that love is blind, but you will find I'm not that kind. You're on my dime. Somebody let me go. Somebody tell me how. Somebody tell me no. Somebody tell me now. What's up? We came so far with your guitar, you superstar, content with art. Just like your cards, who you are, smoke that cigar, you left your scar. Somebody let me go. Somebody tell me how. Somebody tell me no. I hope they tell me now. It's such a shame to shout the blame. I picked your brain, you'll never train. Just walk away, got lots to say. I don't wanna play, maybe someday. Hey, hey, somebody let me go. Somebody tell me how. Somebody tell me no. I hope they tell me now. I killed your sacred cow. Hope you all know by now. I ain't gonna tell you how. I bet you by golly, wow, wow, wow. Hated to lose you. You were a part of me. But then again, you never got yourselves a ring. I feel so helpless. I got no one to call my own. Spent 3 long seasons living with no dark coming zone. When we're home, 26, I'm way up north. I sat down a man to watch the only sport. I searched the field and sat down for that 32. I should have known right then the glory days was through. They was through. 10 to 15 years of mediocrity. Still, that stadium's always filled capacity. Time yet, kids came close down to the bowl. Till that interception, it took its frozen toll, its frozen toll. Hate to lose you when you were a part of me. Then again, you never got yourselves that ring. I feel so helpless, got no one to call my own. Another reason I love to call Cleveland home. Had the chances, had the teams that I would choose, but they always seem to find a way to lose. Johnny's drive, it broke her hearts, but not her souls. Then the fumble interrupted Ernest Stroll, Ernest Stroll. Hate to lose you when you were a part of me. And again, you never got yourselves that ring. I feel so helpless, got no one to call my own. Another reason I love to call Cleveland home. Hated to lose you. You were a part of me. But then again, you will be coming back to me. I feel so happy. I got someone to call my own. Leaves one more season, living in the dark common zone. Downtown city blocks will never be the same. As for me, I'm really glad that they came back. Just give us one more chance to kick the stick, kick him in the... Just like we did last week, baby. All right, this one's for you, Bonnie. If I haven't told you lately, I apologize. I know you need reassurance, see it in your eyes. Feelings that I take for granted I would never show. If I didn't say I love you, you would never know. A woman who could love more purely, there will never be a person I could trust more surely or would love to me. When my life was broken down, you stuck right by my side. Ages later, here you are, not taken all in stride, and still I make you cry. Still I make you cry. I'm making nice about the things that you just fight. You are not the one to blame about what goes on inside. You're my sweetest angel, heaven sent, I can't deny. You're my sweetest angel, baby, still I make you cry. And still I make you cry. Still I make you cry. Still I make you cry. Night after night, still I make you cry. Fight after fight, still I make you cry. Night after I'm sad, I make you cry. Let's give you the credit, babe, you do the best you can. You will be my loving woman and your loving man. Things have worked out for the better, God has seen us through. Everything that you desired has come unto you. And still I make you cry. Still I make you cry. Still I make you cry. Sad that I make you cry. You cry. You cry. You cry.
Thanks for joining me today, Jerry. It's been a pleasure having you here in studio. Now, if people want to get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
The best way is to send me an email at jerryarnold1, the number 1, at live.com. jerryarnold1 at live.com.
Well, thank you again so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate that.
Thanks for joining me here on Lakefront TV today. It's been a pleasure having Jerry Arnold in studio, and we appreciate you tuning in.